Ice Out, the words of a blunt Bad Bunny, the Puerto Rican reggaeton star, in his acceptance speech at the Grammys, where he made history by becoming the first by winning Best Album with a non-English language release. The 31-year-old who has quite a phenomenal week, taken from the Grammys to the halftime show of the Super Bowl next Sunday.
Next Super Bowl halftime performer, three-time Grammy winner, Billboard's 2025 Artist of the Year. Puerto Rican musician Bad Bunny has become a sensation. Born Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio, the artist quickly climbed the charts since the release of his breakout single, Soy Peor, in 2017. To many fans, Bad Bunny's music meaningfully represents Latin culture on the global stage.
I
think he's a very important icon because he's one of the artists who helps ensure that Latinos are recognized for different kinds of things. We are always associated with a bad reputation or something, and it's good that through art we can begin to change the image that Latinos have.
Bad Bunny has been politically outspoken, denouncing the Trump administration's immigration and customs enforcement operations. The artist decided not to perform in the U.S. during his 2025-26 tour for fear that ICE agents would raid the concert venues. This is part of what has made Bad Bunny a divisive choice to perform at the NFL Super Bowl halftime show on February 8th, one of America's most high-profile stages.
And that brings us to our Spotlight segment. And joining us from Birmingham, England, Ellis Cashmore, Professor of Sociology at Aston University, the author of Celebrity Culture. Thank you for being with us here on France 24.
I'm delighted to be with you, François.
When we talk about blunt words, well, let's take a listen to Bad Bunny Sunday night in his acceptance speech at the Grammys.
Before I say thanks to God, I'm going to say eyes out. We're not savage, we're not animals, we're not aliens, we are humans, and we are Americans.
Ellis Cashmore, your reaction?
I think we can expect more of that. I'll be very, very surprised if during the halftime show at the Super Bowl, we don't get a similar kind of announcement. We are not animals, we are humans, we are Americans, something along those lines. And let's not forget Green Day are also on. They're also very outspoken, anti-Trump. But I think all eyes will be, and ears, will be on this guy because something is going to happen. I'm pretty sure about that. And of course, it will be designed to humiliate, to embarrass, to criticize Donald Trump. The question is, of course, whether it will have any effect on Trump himself. Is pretty immune to criticism, as we know.
We know that there's the association Talking Points USA, which has decided to try and do an alternative halftime show. They haven't released many details about that, but this is one of those events, the Super Bowl, that brings together both sides of the culture wars, if you will.
Well, it brings together the world, actually, François. They reckon the viewing figures will be phenomenal, 130 million plus. I think there'll probably be a few more for the halftime show, specifically to watch what will happen, whether there will be any fireworks. So sport is, as you say, traditionally a kind of a healing event. And it does traditionally have a unifying effect on people. But on this occasion, of course, or perhaps not just on this occasion, but over the past 5 or 10 years, sport has become much more political than we used to. And the old idea about sport and politics being separate, I think, has been shown to be nonsense. And increasingly, sport has become a hugely influential platform for people to display, to exhibit their political and moral leanings. And it will be no different on Sunday.
And there's a question of timing. Last year, when Bad Bunny refused to tour the United States, instead doing a residency in his native Puerto Rico, sending out a message, which for those who are sympathetic to that message, they said, great. But now this statement coming out just as the United States is at daggers drawn over what's happening in Minnesota with ICE agents. The timing is something you couldn't write in a script.
Oh, yeah. No, you couldn't script this. This is absolutely perfect for the political activist entertainer. And he is one such being. He will use this as a stage, not just for his music. He'll use it as a stage for his politics. And let's face it, everybody knows this. Nobody in the world expects this to go off as just a musical event like traditional halftime shows at the Super Bowl. Everybody is expecting something explosive. If it doesn't happen, let's face it, it'll be anticlimactic.
Debbie Tirar Mas Fotos, you listen to it, it's great music. And so the question is, would he have made history and become the first non-English speaker to win Best Album at the Grammys if there hadn't been Trump and ICE?
He'd have been known, let's put it that way. He wouldn't have been known on a global scale, I don't think. But what do I know about it? You know, it's not my generation. But I think he would have been a top-rated entertainer, but not top tier as he has become. Sunday is his moment. He will become a notorious character, I think. Loved by half the world, hated by the other half, maybe. I just don't know how the world is split on Trump at the moment, but I do know one thing, it certainly is split.
Yeah, it is split, and there are these two Americas and really these two worlds, and his music, which draws on a lot of influences, on reggaeton, but also on salsa and also on rap. It's not just one kind of music, and that's sort of a reflection of a certain...
Again,
go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Francois, but no music ever is completely apolitical. I mean, throughout the history of rock music, since the war, basically, the end of the Second World War, in the middle of the last century, music has been a conduit, a channel, a means through which people can express their political views, not always popular views, often unpopular, deliberately unpopular, provocative even. But that's the whole point of rock music. And, you know, I know that this guy may not be in genre terms pure rock, I know, but, you know, I'm using the term generically now. The whole field of rock music has been suffused, saturated in political views, opinion, perspectives, and activism. And this guy is carrying on, is extending what is a very still alive tradition. And of course, the politics of today, as we've just pointed out, are so divisive that it's almost tailor-made for music to rush in and say, this is what we feel. This is what young people are thinking and feeling about the world today. And I think we'll know all about it on Sunday.
Yeah, one final question on this exact point, Ellis, which is musicians being activists, that's nothing new, as you say. No. The NFL knew what it was doing when it booked Bad Bunny.
Mischievous.
So yeah, why did they do it?
I think they're being mischievous. I mean, they knew exactly what they were getting. This isn't a shot in the dark. You know, let's just pull somebody out of the air. Oh, this guy Bad Bunny is getting a lot of attention. Let's put him on. No, they knew all about him. They do their homework. They've investigated his background and say, this will get an awful lot of publicity. And it has, of course. Here we are discussing it right now, 5 days ahead of schedule. And so they knew that this was not going to be anodyne, shall we say, halftime show. That this was going to be a very volatile occasion, explosive. That's what they wanted. I mean, you know, the people who organize these things don't just want a dull affair in which people say, oh yeah, another so-so indifferent halftime show. We'll forget it within 24 hours. This will be an event, they hope, that will be not forgotten for several months, if not years.
Ellis Cashmore, so many thanks for joining us from Birmingham.
My pleasure.